Hello and welcome along to the next instalment of my camper conversion YouTube channel. So this video is part of a series converting a T5 high top. I've already documented my T4, that's fully documented on my channel, so if you haven't seen that, have a look already. I've just picked up the T5, and just while I'm trying to sort out some slight heat / fire damage on the panel there, I'm going to be taking up the full flooring at the same time, just because it's been a mobile mechanics van for the last 9 years, and the amount of oil and grime and build-up that's built up into the wood ply itself, it's just sponging, and it just needs to get up, get out. It's all going to need replacing, and then I'm going to have to jet wash the entire floor just to give that an inspection as well. Hopefully there's not going to be any rust or anything like that on the floor. I've been underneath it and I've had a look up, but the vast majority of these vans are covered in that many heat shields. It's quite hard to fully inspect the floor plan compared to, say, the T4, where you can just get in and see the entire full length, no issues. You can see if there's any issues on those type of vans, no problems. I say T5s and newer ones, there's that many heat shields and things in the way, it's getting harder and harder to find out. So the only way now is to get this floor pried up. It looks as though a lot of the screw heads might either have snapped off, or we can't even find where they are because the wood's that rotten. The screw heads probably wouldn't even come out anyway, so it might even have to be prised up. We'll see how we get on anyway, but that's it. I'm just about to start cracking on, get it up, give it washed out, and we'll see what it looks like then. So as you can see, I've just taken the whole flooring up and gave it the hell of a scrubbing of its life, basically. Now, after taking the floor up and scrubbing it all down, I did find a couple of issues with the floor. I did inspect the floor before I bought the van, but the underside of these vans themselves are just completely covered in heat shields, as well as all of the fuel tank, exhaust, this, that, the other. But compared to a T4, where you can pretty much see the entire floor plan, under one of these it's pretty much covered in that many heat shields. It's hard to actually see the bottom of the actual floor itself. Now, because this van was a mobile mechanics van, the mechanic used to have an air compressor welded to the floor over there on a couple of mounting points, and over the years, when the compressor will have been vibrating away, it created a crack along the floor plate there. So I've had the van sent off. There was another start of a crack there as well, but it was nowhere near as bad as that one. That one's actually had a plate welded into that. So as I say, after I realised that there was a crack in the floor, I don't have a welder, I don't have any welding experience, and the crack itself was above where the fuel tank mounts underneath the van. So the fuel tank had to be dropped anyway to be able to do the welding. So I've had it sent off to a garage. They've dropped the fuel tank down, they've cut the crack out and welded in a full new plate, welded up the beginnings of what was a crack over there as well. They've also cut off all of the other mounting points from where the compressor was, where the generator was, things like that as well. So now they've all been welded back up, so the floor's now solid as a rock again. There should be no issues with it. It's been protected on the underside and above as well. Anywhere else on the floor where I saw that there was any signs at all of any paint that had been either scratched off the surface, that had been broken through, exposing any sort of bare metal, that's all been painted over with hammerite. As you can see, there's lots of white splodges here and there. That's, as I say, just a case of giving it a little bit of protective coating, just to be sure there's no exposed bare metal. So now the flooring is now finally all sorted and good to go. It's all completely scrubbed and cleaned down. All the issues have been taken care of in regards to a couple of cracks on the flooring from the previous owner's air compressor. As I say, that must have been vibrating away for, well, he had the van for 9 years, so it could have well been going for 9 years, so it's no surprise that just slowly just flexed the floor to the point where it gave way. So all these issues have now been taken care of. So now it's a case of getting the new flooring laid back down. There's no way the old flooring was going back down. That was just absolutely sodden and soaked through with years worth of oil, grime, grease, gunk, God knows how much crap. So I've still got that flooring that's still put to one side. I'm going to be using that as a template, and I've got 2 new sheets of 12mm ply here. So these are going to be used, the old flooring is going to be used as a template to cut these down. Then, before this gets laid down, I'm going to be laying a full layer of XPS insulating mat. That's the same type of stuff that you lay underneath laminate flooring. So if it's good enough to lie in between, say, concrete floor and wood laminate, it's perfectly good enough to lie in between the steel floor and the ply. Then on top of the ply, then there's going to be a full layer of UVA foam mats, again acting as insulation. And then on top of the UVA foam mats, I'm going to be laying down some Altro flooring. So first things first, get the old flooring dug out, get some gloves on because it's just really, really grimy and dirty and horrible. Get that laid out on top of this one, get it all drawn out, get this cut down, make sure it's cut right and fits the shape. Then I'll be able to get all the insulation in and get the flooring finally down. So I've just got the old flooring out and just clamped it onto the new ply. You can see just by the state of it that it's definitely past it. It's all starting to delaminate on the other side as well. I say it's just absolutely grimy. There's no saving this. But because it's here and it was fitted, it does make the perfect template. So it's a case of just clamping it down to make sure that it doesn't move and drawing all the way around it with the pencil. So this is just a quick test fitting of the actual ply floor, just to make sure that it's actually going to go down okay, or whether it needs any trims or not. It looks as though it's pretty okay. I just need to do a tiny little trim around that little wheel arch there because that bit's not quite sitting flat. Everything else looks pretty solid. This top piece just needs a couple of little trims on the corners as well, and then that should actually sit flush and flat as well. So it's coming along. Once I'm happy that everything's actually sitting securely on the floor, then I'll rip it all back out again and start doing some underply insulation before I do some overply insulation. So I'll get this back out, do a couple of final little trims and pick it up when it's ready for the insulation to go down. So these are the XPS mats that I'm going to be using for the underply insulation. Just 5mm thick, but as I say, these are good for generally under the laminate flooring to be laid on hard standing beneath the laminate. So if it's good enough for underneath the laminate, it should certainly be good enough in between the ply and the metal. Then as I say, there's going to be additional insulation on top of the ply once that's laid down as well. So first things first, get all the ply back out, get these sheets laid down, cut to shape, just to cut round any arches, any jut outs, anything like that. Once they're in shape, I'll just stick them together with some tape. Then it'll be okay to put the ply on top and the ply will be screwed through down into the actual metalwork and that'll secure these in place as well. So I'll get these all laid out, cut the shape and pick it up. So that's all of the XPS insulation down. It's all been cut to shape, cut around all the arches, around all of the cutouts for where there would have been seatbelt struts, things like that. All the way around the front and around the sliding steps all been cut as well. It's all been stuck down just so it can't move when I'm about to start laying the ply back down. So now this is all cut, laid down, cut the shape and stuck. It's okay to get the ply back in and get that screwed down, and then continue more insulation on top of that, and then get the Altro on. So there's the ply laid down as well. Didn't really film that, it's just a case of folding it back down because I'd already done the test fit to be sure that it was going to fit okay. So as I say, that's just gone straight in there, straight down. Now I'm just going to get my screwdriver out and just apply some screws straight through into the supporting ribs. Nothing too deep, nothing too long. You don't want it going through the flooring into any hoses or pipes or anything daft like that. So I'll be securing these parts, and then I'll get the UVA foam mats out, start insulating the top of the ply. I've just finished screwing the ply down. I say this is now going nowhere at all. So now all that's secure in place, it's starting to make the flooring look a hell of a lot better. Wouldn't be that hard really, considering the old flooring that was down. But this is now the insulation matting that I'm going to be using on top of the ply before I put the Altro flooring down. These are available from B&Q, £9 a pack, or I'll put a link in the description where you can get them on eBay in all sorts of different colours, thicknesses, sizes, things like that. The interlock, and I'm just going to be using some spray glue on the ply, spray glue on the back of the mats, and just sticking these down, and then sticking the Altro on top of this. Done it before in a couple of different vans, it's always worked out fine there, and it actually gives a nice soft spongy feel underneath the flooring compared to just walking on hard ply. So get these out, get these interlocked, and again cut down to shape, pretty much similar to what I've just done with that XPS stuff. Once it's cut to shape, get it stuck down, get the Altro out. So I've just finished shaping all of the UVA mats. This is all now ready to start taking back up. Applying all of these spray adhesive to the ply and sticking these back down, but the actual sponginess of these mats under the foot compared to just standing on bare ply is night and day really, especially when the the Altro's on top of it as well. You can still feel the sponginess under the Altro, so it's almost like underlay insulation in your home as well. So this has all gone together relatively easily. It's took the 2 full packs to do the full floor, including a few offcuts to get into just the daft little areas around the wheel arches, things like that. And it was literally, I think that is all of the offcut from 2 full packs, so it's pretty much used all of it. So it's still not bad though. £18 for a full length of long wheelbase underfloor insulation, and as I say, this is really nice, really soft. And you can put this stuff in your house, put it on tile flooring, walk around on it, and your feet just feel lovely and warm. So as I say, it should work perfectly fine for the van as well. So I'll start taking this all back up, apply all of the spray adhesive. You don't necessarily need to use high temperature adhesive on flooring. You only need the high temperature stuff when it comes to doing your lining around the ceiling, things like that, your head lining. On the floor it doesn't really matter, because even if temperatures do get high, it can't droop. So any temperature spray adhesive is fine for the flooring, but I've got a bulk purchase of the high temperature anyway, so that's what I'll be using. So I'll get a couple of those cans out, start taking all this up, get it all glued back down, and then it's Altro time. We're almost there. So now that's all the UVA foam matting all glued down, that's not going anywhere. So this is the Altro flooring that I've got. Silver grey with a sparkle inside it, especially when light hits it. I don't know how well the camera will actually make it out, but whenever there's direct light hitting it, you can just see it's the equivalent of metal flake and paintwork type thing. It's it's rubber backed as well, so it's really tough, hard wearing stuff compared to, say, lino that you get from your general flooring retailers. Lino, I've tried it once on my very first van and I punctured it 3 or 4 times before I'd even finished the conversion, just by standing on daft little things, screws, nails, things like that. So I've always gone with Altro since then, and I've never had a problem. I've again stood on plenty of screws and stuff, but they've never broken through this. So that's going to be the final stage of the flooring. Because that's just a roll, it's a 3x2 roll. Obviously there's no template made, so it's going to be a case of rolling it out in the van, cutting round again, around the arches, around any of the jut outs, basically almost carbon copy of exactly the wtih. Once that's all trimmed, it'll be then getting peeled back up, spray glued down and refitted. So the fun begins now. Get this rolled out, get a couple of sharp blades out because this stuff can eat through Stanley blades quite easily. And hopefully should be a relatively straightforward fit. So we'll get it all rolled out and see how well it goes down. So there we go, there is the flooring completely transformed from grubby, oil-stained, old, rotten ply with a cracked floor underneath to a fully repaired floor, brand new ply, insulation beneath and above the ply, brand new Altro safety flooring as well, all cut to shape. I think it's looking quite nice. I just wish I'd cleaned my trainers before I started walking around in it, obviously, but it'll all still wipe clean straight away. I say it's industrial grade flooring, this type of stuff, so no issues with cleaning it down either. So I hope you think this looks a hell of a lot better than it did. I know I do. I'm quite pleased with how this has turned out. So if you found this video useful, do give it that good old thumbs up. If you haven't already, have a look at my channel. There's loads of videos on there already covering previous conversions I've done, micro campers and bigger. I'm also going to be documenting every single job I do to this as well, so if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.